all reading here. Oh, I got that. Thank you. We just have so much gratitude to have you all reading again this year for those of you that have joined us in years past. And for anyone who's new, we thank you for joining us now. This entire training is set up to make sure that you feel comfortable and familiar with the format we're using so that you at no point get stressed out while we're doing this because there's enough emotion that's going to be happening as we read. Jake is going to be taking over, which many of you already know Jake, but I'll introduce him officially in just a minute. He's going to be taking the lead on this training. But the Federation thanks you very much. I thank you. Jason thanks you. We're just very, very excited to have everybody in the community come together like this. And this being my first time, I am honored to get to be able to be a part of this event as well. And the more and more I hear about it, the more I get a little choked up and it brings tears to my eyes. And I'm just very thankful to be able to be a part of this community. So thank you all. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jake, who is our tech guru wizard, as has already been stated. He is absolutely incredible, and we will save questions, I think, for the end. Jake, tell me if that's incorrect. Would you
Yeah,
like me?
that's a good idea. We'll move through pretty quickly through the general information, and then at the end we'll get to everybody's questions, and we're going to keep it going till you all feel comfortable. So don't worry.
I love that. And everyone has received a copy of the instructions as well. So, Jake, you may take it away whenever you like. And if you do have questions that have to be answered immediately, please put them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them as we're going, or I'll hold on to them for the end. Okay?
Perfect.
Thumbs
Okay.
up. All you, Jake.
Awesome. So with that, hello everybody. It's great to see some familiar faces, some new faces. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. And I'm looking forward to a wonderful event with you all participating. A very moving, emotional, and non technologically problematic event that we will all enjoy together. So that being said, first things first, the event will take place in webinar format. That is different than the format that this training is in today. Webinar format is a bit different because you all will be joining from a unique panelist link. So you will each have a unique link that you will join from. It's just going to be one link for you, non-dependent on how many slots you are filling. It's just the same link for you, and you will be joining from that link. It's very important that you do not share that link with anybody. You do not try to join to watch the actual event from that link. You just join from that link to participate. It's very important that you join from that link to participate 15 minutes prior to your assigned time slot. When you join, you should have your camera off, but if you're asked the question of whether you would like to turn your camera on or off, right when you join, as you're joining, please make sure you join with it off, and then when it is time for you to turn it on, what's going to happen is myself or a member of my team will send you a little push notification that will pop up on your screen that will be saying the host is asking you to turn on your camera. When you get that, you will turn your camera on. You can turn on your camera from that push notification that will show up. You can click turn on camera from there, or in the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom screens, you will see to the right of the mute button, you'll see a little stop start video icon. It looks like a camcorder. If you're on a computer, if you're on a smart device, it'll show up in a different place, but it'll look kind of like a camcorder and it'll say stop or start video. Works the same way as the mute button. If there's a red line through it, your camera is off. If there isn't, your camera is on. It is that simple. So you'll turn on your camera when it's time, not prior to you being to you speaking, just right at the start of your time slot, and we'll get you going. It's important to know that because we are in webinar format, what you are seeing is not what the attendees are seeing. You are behind the scenes, behind the curtain, so you're going to see some weird, wonky stuff. Don't worry about it. You're going to wonder why you are and are not seeing things. Don't worry about that either. Just know that when it's time for you to read, you read. And because we're in webinar format, you'll be able to control your own view between gallery view and speaker view. Because of the nature of the program, I recommend you be in gallery view, and you can control this setting in the top right-hand corner of your Zoom window if you're on a computer, or by swiping if you're on a smart device. We do recommend and ask, please, 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 if you are able, please join the event from a computer, not a smart device. It's very important in order to get the quality we need, the connection we need, as well as the functionality. If you absolutely must join from a smart device, it is quite all right, but ideally you be joining from a computer. Great. So, with that all situated, another very important thing to do when you get on is know your name is going to have reader and then the number that you are in the list. It's important that you don't change that. That is supposed to be that way. That's how we know who is speaking when. Um, and that also will help you know knowing when you should be speaking as well. As you probably already know from information you've been given, but we will have 3 speakers, 3 readers on during each time slot. Because we have some in person and some virtual, there might be at different times 2 readers who are in person at the podium from our hybrid live stream setup, and then 1 on the screen from Zoom, or 2 on Zoom and 1 there in the late hours. So just be prepared for that, and don't wait for anybody. As soon as your time slot starts, somebody's got to start reading, and you can figure out and get right into it. That being said, we want to make sure that you all sound as clear as possible while you are reading. So that comes to our audio settings. So first things first, it's very important that you have air conditioners, fans, heaters, all off. Absolutely everything. You can have it, and it might get hot, it might get cold depending on where you are, but you can withstand it for 30 minutes or an hour if needed. And that being said, you also need windows shut and all of that. Please also be in the quietest place in your home or office, wherever you might be, depending on where you are during that part of the day. But don't worry about, your cats, your dogs, etc. Everybody's in the same situation. Everybody's, living, and it's noises come through. It's okay. But it's very important that until it is time for you to speak, you stay muted. So the mute button is in the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom screen. It works by clicking it on and off. If there's a red line through it, your microphone is off. If there isn't, your microphone is on. Always glance there before you start speaking, so there's no mouths moving without sound coming out. Very important. I would even put like a little post-it note next to your computer to remind you, just to always double check that. So we can keep everything moving smoothly, and we get all the names in, so we don't have any time of any dead air there. So that being said, if you are on a computer, you are able to adjust your audio settings. If you are on a smart device, you are not. So that's another reason we recommend you be on a computer. And to the right of that mute button, you will all see a little up arrow, a chevron like this. What I'd like you to do is all click that for me, and you'll get a black pop-up window. Now, on the bottom of that black pop-up window, you'll click where it says Audio Settings. And if anybody's having trouble, I'll go through and help you one-on-one a little bit towards the end after the questions. But you'll click that up arrow, you'll get a black pop-up, and at the bottom you click where it says Audio Settings. It's the little up arrow, little chevron to the right of the mute button in the bottom left-hand corner. It's not the mute button over your picture, it's the one on the bottom toolbar of Zoom. You click that up arrow, click Audio Settings, and then you'll get a white pop-up. And around the center of this white pop-up, you'll see where it says Suppress Background Noise, and you'll set that to low. If you're having trouble finding where it says Suppress Background Noise, just walk down from the top of it. So you go to Speaker, then Microphone, and then the next bold section should say Suppress Background Noise. If this is not appearing there, you probably have an outdated version of Zoom. So it's just very important that you update your Zoom prior to signing on. It's always good to update to be safe as well. A quick and easy way to update is just going to the website and reinstalling the Zoom. That will update it automatically for you at zoom.us. That being said, most of you probably have it automatically update, and it's already there, and you should see it says Suppress Background Noise, and you'll set that to low. Now, what we're doing here is setting the noise suppression algorithm of Zoom to the lowest setting that it can be set to. The reason we do this is because the noise suppression algorithm of Zoom, not great. It thinks the human voice is noise, and it can't tell the difference. So if you do have any noise in the background or just speaking, it will, duck you down. You've probably heard sometimes people sound like they're underwater. It's usually because of this noise suppression algorithm. So we set it to low so that it doesn't suppress you, but it's doubly important that you have, anything that makes noise. off so that that's not the case. If you're worried about this because you have a loud laptop fan or you just live in a fairly more noisy place, you can always hop on a Zoom with a friend or a relative, and you can adjust the setting between low and auto and see what they say sounds the clearest. That being said, the default we're going to recommend you to set it to is low, so even if we're getting some noise in the background, we're able to make out the names that you will be reading. So, with that being said, it's very important that as you're reading the names, you don't need to yell, but you also can't be too quiet because we want that microphone to pick you up. So make sure to project and enunciate as you are reading those names. And also, don't be too far from your computer, but you don't have to be too close either. Just normal, comfortable place where you are talking into the microphone. But like I mentioned, very important, just to reiterate, please do not be unmuted until it is time for you to speak. That is extremely important. If we do see that you are unmuted, we will mute you. So don't be super worried about that. That's okay. And then if we see that you're having trouble unmuting, we'll send you a push notification to remind you where you can also unmute yourself from there as well. If for some reason we are having a problem with your audio, don't worry. My team will be in touch with you via the chat, or the programming team will be in touch with you over email or phone, depending on what we have for you, and we'll get you up and running and get you back into the order of things, however we can. Which brings me to the other part, which is very important, that you have the chat open. The second you get on Zoom, you should open that chat in case we need to message you or you need to message us. You open the chat by clicking the chat icon at the bottom toolbar on Zoom. If you're on a computer, if you're on a smart device, you get to it by swiping. And with the chat, it's important that you do not write messages to everyone. Only write in the chat if it is an emergency and you need to contact my team. And you do so by clicking the blue to field in the chat and selecting who you want to send a message to. Don't select everyone. We will not be sending any messages to the attendees there unless it is from the programming staff. So please make sure you are only sending private messages to myself or my team. We will be on there under names such as Jewish Federation or Jewish Federation of the Greater San Gabriel and Pomona Valley, something like that. And you can message that and that will get to us. Always double check this before you send the message so you don't accidentally send any private messages that turn out to be public messages. So very, very important. It's very important that while you are reading your names, we don't have any interruptions. So first thing you should do before you even get onto the Zoom, silence your phone and take it off of Wi-Fi. Don't fully turn it off. Don't put it on airplane mode in case we do need to contact you, but silence it. Take it off of Wi-Fi, even if your computer is hardwired with Ethernet because it is the same bandwidth. And then place your phone on your lap, on your chair, in your pocket, on the floor, but not on your table or desk and not on your device, so that if it vibrates, it's not going to vibrate through everything. Very, very important. Also, if you have home phones, make sure to do anything you need to on them to silence them or place them in a different room so that the ringing won't interrupt your reading either. It's also very important that you close any applications on your computer that you don't need open during the event. So if you have your list on your computer and you're reading it there versus printed out, it's totally okay to have that open. But anything you don't need open, such as Outlook, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Google Calendar, WhatsApp, all of that should be closed. But even just your calculator application, Chrome, anything like that, because it's leeching computer processing power in the background while it's just even open, even if you're not using it. And Zoom needs all of your computer processing power to work properly. A lot of times when people have poor connection, it's not because of their internet, it's because they have other applications running in the background that are leeching away that processing power. So it's important all of that is closed. Now, if you're on a Mac computer, you have one more step to make sure you don't get any notifications or anything coming through. So if you're on a Mac computer, what you would do is you can do this one of two ways. So I'm going to walk you through both right now really quickly. And once again, if you're having trouble finding any of these things, don't worry. Since we have a small group today, at the end of this, I'll be able to go through and show you one-on-one if you're having issues. But the first way to put your computer on Do Not Disturb if you're on a Mac is you go to the top right-hand corner of the computer screen around where the date and time is. Over around there, you'll see 2 or 3 faint parallel lines. They might have dots to the left of them, like a list. You'll click that. You'll get a gray pop-out window. You'll put your cursor, your mouse, over top of the gray pop-out. Take 2 fingers on your trackpad if you're on a laptop, or scroll if you're on a desktop, and you'll slide your fingers up and down. And at the top, you'll see where it says Do Not Disturb, and you just turn that on. If you're having trouble finding that, there's a much easier way to do this that's always reliable. What you do instead is go to the top left-hand corner of the computer screen. You click the Apple icon. Then you click where it says System Preferences. Then you go to where it says Notifications. It's in the grid there. It's usually over towards the top right-hand corner of the grid. And then depending on the update you have, it might say turn on Do Not Disturb, and then you check off the box to the left of From, and you set that time to the start time of your reading and to an hour or two later to be safe. Or it might say something like Focus there, and it'll say disable notifications, or allow notifications, or vice versa, and just set it to not allow notifications and to disable notifications so that we don't get any of those coming through, and you don't get any FaceTime calls, iMessages, email notifications, anything like that coming through during the event. Great.
Jake, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
No worries.
when I went to the Do Not Disturb, Siri tried to take over, and I missed half of what you said.
No
So
worries. You clicked right to the left of it.
as long as I click the Do Not Disturb, I'm good, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. No problem. But yeah, exactly. And that'll just make sure you don't get any of those notifications coming through there during the event. Great. So now what we're going to talk about is making sure, because this is both a visual and an audio situation, we want to make sure you all look the best you can as well on screen. Now, I'm a bad example today, mainly because it's dark here and I'm not in my office scenario. So you see the light is a little bit low here, and also my laptop is a little bit low. So first things first, what I would want to do is adjust my positioning. So my laptop or computer, whether it be a laptop or a desktop, the camera is perpendicular to my face. So if it was low, like I was on a laptop, which most laptops do sit a bit low, what you would want to do is place a few books underneath it to raise it up. It's important that your laptop not actually be on your lap, because it's going to shake around everywhere. So make sure it's on a table or desk, somewhere where it will be sturdy. And then you put a few books underneath it to raise it up, so it's more perpendicular like this. So this looks like I'm talking to you versus down at you. And on a lot of desktops, they'll be a bit higher. So it'll look like you're talking up to somebody, right? So the way to fix that is you tilt down that screen, and then you try to raise up your chair as much as possible. Sitting on a pillow can help, but you want to be comfortable too. So just be in the most comfortable situation you can be in, while also being as perpendicular and well framed. You want a little bit of air above your hair here, but not too much. And yeah, and that's it. And you want to be perpendicular. Now, when it comes to lighting, what you want is light coming from behind your device onto your face. You don't want windows behind you with light pouring in. If you have any windows behind you or to the side of you, you're going to want to pull those curtains, pull those blinds, make sure that they are covered, or have those windows be on the other side of your device. If you, best case scenario, have windows, they should be on the other side of your device, so you are facing the window, looking out the window, and that light is coming in on your face. Because what you want is light coming from behind your device onto your face, whether it be table lamps, floor lamps, windows, anything like that. You want that light coming onto your face, centered, so you don't have a shadow on one side or the other. You want that light coming from behind your device right onto your face, as centered as possible, because if I have too much light on my right side, the left side of my face is going to be in the shadow, which it kind of is a little bit because I got a little table lamp over there. But what I would do is want to place that behind my device so that it was pouring onto my face nice and evenly. Spend some time exploring in your home situation. Also think about what time of day you're going to be reading, because if you have windows, but you're going to be reading at 2 a.m., you're not really going to have that light coming through. So make sure it's light that you can rely on at the time that you are reading as well. Mess around with that, play around with it. But also, we're all in our homes. We're dealing with the same situations. Just get it as best you can. Don't worry about it. But have some fun exploring with that and seeing how well lit you can get. And don't let it get too dark either, because if it gets too dark, your camera is going to not have enough light feeding the iris, and it's going to kind of get kind of grainy like mine is right now because I don't have enough light coming on to me. So that's a good example of that. But mess around with that and see what you can come up with. You also don't want necessarily a harsh light coming around under your face. So if you have kind of a desk lamp, make sure it doesn't look like a hostage or interrogation situation. Make sure it's more of a diffuse light if you can. But mess around with that and see what you can come up with what you have in your homes. So that is the lighting. Great. So with that, a little bit about how the event is going to go. Like I said, you're all going to join 15 minutes prior to the time that you are going to read. We'll send you those push notifications to turn on your camera when it's time, and you can unmute at that time as well. And then you will read the names. When you get through them, you can then, our team actually will turn off your cameras for you. You don't have to worry about it. You just need to remember to turn on your cameras when we send you those push notifications to do so. It is important, though, that when you are done reading, you mute yourselves. We will do it if you forget to, but please try to mute yourself when you are done reading to make sure that that doesn't stay on a little bit and you don't say anything unwanted while other people are reading. Great. And then when you're done, what you can do is leave the Zoom, and then you can watch either on Facebook, where we'll be streaming, or you can watch as an attendee on the Zoom. Either is fine, but you'll have to leave and then join from the general attendee link that I'm sure Rebecca will provide to you so that you have that as well. No worry, Edith, I'll get you there. We'll talk after, and I'll get you through the Mac setup. Great. So with that, we've kind of sped through everything super fast. I'm sure there's a few questions. But because it's nice and simple, you just come on, you turn on your camera, you read, and then you're done. We got through that pretty fast. So now I'm going to open it up to questions, and then after questions, if people are having specific trouble finding things, stuff like that, I'll go through with the groups of people who might have trouble finding specific things and get you to find them. But yes, Joanne.
Two questions. One, the background. So I know you don't want.
I forgot to mention that. Yes. So we don't want virtual backgrounds, and we don't want blurred backgrounds either.
Okay.
So do plan not to have a blurred or virtual background, because the virtual backgrounds can be quite distracting for people, and depending on what it is, it could be quite inappropriate for the event. And the blurred backgrounds tend to make people feel disoriented and can sometimes give people nausea. So we don't like to have those either.
So you don't care what's behind us?
We don't care what's behind you. We're all in our homes. As long as it's real, it can be there.
Okay. And then
that's a perfect background. I hope you use it because I love the picture behind you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
So the other question has to do with when our cameras are off.
Yeah.
At some point, I set my Zoom up so that there is an avatar up there of.
Yeah, we won't see that. We're not going to see your
that.
we're not going to see your profile pictures or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Jacob, right? Jacob?
Jake. Well, yes, technically Jacob. Jacob, Jake, whatever.
I am reading on the second day between 5:30 and 6. Am I reading that full time of names, or are there just a couple of names?
So you'll be sharing the time with 2 other people. So you'll be reading for about 10 minutes of names within that.
Okay. And we will be sent the names.
Yes, I can take that question. Yes, tomorrow we're sending out the list of names to everybody who's going to be reading. And to just go a little bit further on what Jake was saying, there are 3 of you all reading at the same time. It's going to go in order. So it's not like you read your list of names and they read their list and they read their list.
Okay.
It's Lynn reads, then Robert reads, then Maggie reads, then Lynn reads, then Robert reads, then Maggie reads, if that makes sense.
So it will be alternate.
Correct. Correct.
Exactly. And we'll start with the people on Zoom, actually. So if you are on Zoom, what we'll do is we'll go with the Zoom people first, whether it be 1 person or 2 people, and then we'll go to the person in person, and then it'll go back around.
And you said the names were going to be have numbers with them, so it'll be 1, 2, 3. So we know
Your
it
Exactly.
names.
starts.
So
name.
if you your names will have numbers with them. So when you join, you'll come on as reader 1 or reader 2, or if you are a virtual reader who is in one of the late hours where there are multiple virtual readers, it will say reader 1 first and reader 1 second, something like that. It actually won't be 1 because it's later in the numbers, but you'll get the point. It'll say first and
Okay,
second.
so the number is like you're the 40th reader or something like that.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly. Yeah,
okay.
it corresponds to the time block that you were reading in.
Right. And so then if you are, does it also say whether you're reader number 1 or number 2 or number 3?
So it'll say if you are reader 1, when you join, it'll actually say as your name that you're reader 1. And your time block on the chart that we have with our stuff has that, so we'll know when it's time for you.
Oh,
to
I
read,
think
but
correct me if I'm wrong, Maggie, but I think what you mean is, will it tell you the order that you're going to be reading with the other 2 people? Is that correct, what you're asking? So if you're reading in the early hours of the morning, we do have 2 virtual readers, so it'll say like, reader 12 first and reader 12 second, or the other way around, sorry,
Exactly.
12 first and second. So it'll at least tell you which reader of the virtual kind you are. But it will not tell you which reader you are because the other 2, if for the other times of the reading, because there's only 1 virtual reader. So you'll just be virtual reader 1. You'll be reader
Yeah,
1 or
exactly. And you will always go first before the hybrid readers. So just assume that if you are just reader 1 or reader 2, that you are the first reader in that section.
And will I see the other people?
Yes, yeah, you'll see everybody else that is reading on screen with you. Even though they are in person, we'll have them actually on the Zoom as well, so you'll see them right there.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, of course. I see we have some questions there. Natalia.
Jay, question. Um, so our name will also be shown, or it will be shown as a reader
No,
1,
it'll just say reader and
reader
then
such and such, but no name.
exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Stephanie? Oh, you're muted.
You're still muted.
Oh, you're having a little issue. In the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that mute button. Yep,
Got
there
it,
you go.
got it. Can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
So when, Jake, Rebecca, when will we have time to read our family members' names?
if you are going to be reading your own family members' names, which if you have them, please read them. That is very important. You're going to do that before you start reading the list that we've given you. So you'll start off with your family names because we want to make absolutely sure that those get said 100%. When you get towards the end of the list that we're giving you, you'll see you're not going to get to all of the names, unfortunately. But we give you a little bit extra names just to make sure we filled the whole time.
And will the other readers know that we need to take time to read our family names first?
They won't need to. They're going to think it's part of your list. They won't
Oh.
know differently.
You'll still be reading them within the time that you're allotted. There is an extra
But we will
time.
not be alternating them, correct?
You will be alternating them with the other names as well.
Yes.
Ah, all right. So that if I have, just to be very clear, if I have a list of 12 family members, I won't read all 12.
No,
I will
correct.
sort of feed them into my slot.
Exactly. Basically, put them at the top of your list. And it's as though you're reading the list just as though we gave you that list, but it's
Okay.
members.
Got it. Thank you.
But that seems like some of us are going to finish our list then before others finish their list.
You'll also receive, you probably will not finish the list we give you, is what I'm trying to say. So, so all of you will receive the list from us. Those of you that have your own family members will read your list first and then begin the list that we give you.
I suspect it would be a good idea to, as we're reading them, make a check so we don't repeat.
I would recommend that. That would be a very smart move. Yes.
And then how do we know, how do we know when will we get a little notice saying stop?
So keep an eye on the clock. That being said, what's going to happen is basically when it gets to the end of your time block, that's your cue to stop. We'll have the others coming on, and we will turn off your cameras for you. We might put something in the chat to you that says we are switching, but we might not as well. If you just feel out, just keep an eye on the clock, and you'll know that that when the time is up, and we're switching over.
So each time block is 30 minutes,
Yep.
and it's 30 minutes whether it's 2 readers or 3 readers or 1
So
reader?
there will always be 3 readers.
Okay.
The only thing that changes is that 2 of them might be in person and 1 virtual, or 2 of
Okay.
them might be virtual.
So each of us is on for roughly 10 minutes of those 30.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
Mhm.
Now, when will we be sent the link?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow also? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be sending your final confirmation email. It'll have a repeat of all of the basic details. It'll have your lists attached to it, and it'll give you your link as well. And it'll have the invite at the end that if there's additional questions, you can always call me at work, or you can email me. I'll have my email basically 24 hours a day. So that will get me on the weekends until on Friday until 2 p.m. I'm working. So if you want to call me at work, you can do that. I'll have my phone number on there, so you can call me. But if you want to reach me past times I'm at work, you can email me as well, and I'll respond. All right.
Just a reminder, it's very important you do not share that link with anybody. That is just your unique panelist link to join from. And if you are on multiple slots, it is that same link. We have set it up as such so that it says all your numbers on it, so that we know when you're speaking at those times as well.
You got the list of the individuals from, is it Yad Vashem?
Correct, Yad Vashem. I've actually spent the last 2 weeks changing them over from Yad Vashem's format into our format for you all to be able to read, for us to be able to divide them up, and for you to be able to read. It is intense, and these names are now meaningful. I've been reading them for 2 weeks now, and it's been a tough task.
Yeah.
But we have them.
How many names do you have?
That's
Do
what
we have?
We have a little over 33,000 names.
3,000. Okay.
Yeah, so we will not get through all of them this year. We're going to continue this same list into next year as well, so we make sure that their names get heard. Yeah. I don't think we even get through half of them this year, honestly.
So some of the names from this year are from last year also? Or no?
No, because we're doing names only from the massacre at Babi Yar this year. So in years past, what they've done is they've taken all of the names throughout the entire, all of it, up to 6 million names. In this particular instance, it's just the 33,000 from Babi Yar that were murdered.
Are there any other tech questions? No? Oh, well, wonderful.
Yes, excellent.
Oh, yep. Ask away.
Sorry. I wasn't sure I was technical enough that I knew I was talking to you, Jane. So thank you for responding. I'm on my iPhone right now, but I want to be doing this on I want to do the Zoom on my computer, which is not a Mac. And when I tried to, so I think I've missed a step somewhere along the line, because when I tried to get it on my Mac, on my screen, it says, you may not have downloaded your Zoom.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So if you don't already, you need to make sure that the Zoom application is downloaded on your computer. You can download it from zoom.us if you go to that on your browser. And then from there, you download the version that's for the type of computer you have, whether it be a Mac or a PC, and then you need to install it. If you are joining from a smart device, because you can't on a computer for any reason too, it's important that you have it horizontal so that it fills the screen better. So don't have it vertical, like if you were, filming something like this, you'd want it horizontal, like an old-timey camera, like you were taking a picture like that. And that way, it'll be a little bit better for filling out the screen and look a bit better as well.
Okay, so I can go forward on the phone if I can't get it to work on my
Yeah, of
computer.
course. But since you do have a computer, there's no reason you can't join from it. You just need to install the application by going to zoom.us, downloading it, following instructions when you click the download, and then you should be able to join on there versus on your phone.
Okay, zoom.us. Thank you.
I can actually screen share what that looks like really quick.
Oh, good.
Let me just pull that up.
Is there any way that we could do like a little test run to make sure our computers
Yeah.
are up to date? And because I have an 11.
Oh, so you mean a test run to see if your computers are up to date?
Yeah, because I have an 11-year-old Mac.
So no worries there. Even if you have an 11-year-old Mac, if it's still kicking, it's probably going to kick for another 10 years. There's those ones that make it through it and last for ages. But if you're on an 11-year-old Mac, it doesn't matter what age your computer is, as long as your Zoom is updated. So what I'm going to show you now is how to make sure your Zoom is as updated as possible. So
Jake, just a moment before you do that. I noticed Patricia tried to change her phone into the horizontal view, and instead of it giving her a horizontal view,
it went
turned
sideways, right?
Yeah.
So if you are going to make your phone horizontal, you need to make sure your screen lock is not on. You may have set it so that it doesn't turn like that. If you're on an iPhone, it might be hard to see with the glare. Hold on, let me see if I can get this a little
What?
better here. So your phone, if you turn your phone and it doesn't change your view to actually be horizontal like that, see, you're not actually horizontal right now, you're just sideways.
Exactly.
So in order to fix that, what you do is, if you're on an iPhone, it's a little hard to see here, but you go down to your settings here.
Settings.
It's a little hard to see the glare here. Yeah, but you go to your settings here, and I'm trying to get it so it doesn't glare. You can kind of see on an angle, and you should see right there, there's a little icon that has a like padlock and a rotation arrow around it. You just want to make sure that is not clicked, and you'll be able to
Okay, I don't see that. Mine just has, at the bottom, it has
Okay.
mute and video participants. And am I in the right place?
So you're on the Zoom right now, so you're probably going to have trouble pulling that up right now. But later you can mess around with that and take a look at that. That being said, let me show you how to download and update your Zoom. So,
Oh, excuse me, let me ask you this first. On my computer screen now, it says, if you don't have Zoom client now, download now. So can I just push that
you
button
can
and
do it
it'll work?
from there. Exactly.
Oh, wonderful.
But what you can do to always double check is you go to zoom.us on your browser. Are you all seeing this?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, yes.
So
Yeah.
you go to zoom.us, then you go to where it says resources, and then download Zoom client, and then you select the one that's for you. Click download here, and then you'll download it and follow the instructions for installing it, and that's it. Nice and easy.
We had problem with
But yeah, there you go. So that's how you do it, and make sure, and even if you already have Zoom downloaded, when you do that, it'll just update the Zoom that you have. Also, by the way, at this point, if anybody does need to leave, we're just going through specific questions. So thank you all so much, of course.
Thanks, Jake.
For staying on with us, of course. Thank you.
Lila Tov, it's late for you, I know.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks,
For those of you
Bye,
who don't know,
Rebecca.
Jake is in New York.
Yes, I'm in Brooklyn right now, so it's
Bye, y'all.
a little late.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Of course, but those who still have questions, you can stay on. And
Island.
perfect. So Maggie, yes?
Yes, I'm going.
Oh, you're going, right? You're waving.
I was-
Right.
I
I
was
couldn't tell it was a
thinking-
hand up or a wave by.
I was just hello and goodbye.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Great. So, oh, people still saying bye. Okay.
Goodbye. Thank you all. For those of you that are leaving, thank you for joining us.
Good, thank you very much. And we'll have a recording of this as well that you can reference if you'd like.
Correct. Sending that recording tomorrow with the same email.
Jake?
Thank you.
Yes, I'm trying to download, I was trying to do this while you're still here and I can ask you.
Of course, of course.
I tried to download from my computer and nothing, from the little prompt that they gave me, nothing actually happened. And then it says, go to someplace else if this isn't working, and I did.
Okay.
And now what I've got on my screen is it just says join meeting.
So Patricia, could you turn around your camera so that I can see your screen?
Oh, okay. Can you see it now?
Hold on, let me make you big. One moment. Okay, great. So what you want to do is you want to go to zoom.us in your browser. So in the top there, just type in zoom.us.
Okay, wait a second. Zoom.us, okay,
Great. And then just click return.
okay.
I will try to update your Zoom now if you're done.
And then go to where it says resources on the top there.
How is it?
Resources, okay, I'm not
And
seeing.
then
Solution-
select
I'm
download.
sorry, I'm not seeing, oh, here it is, here it is.
Yep.
Okay,
And then
resources.
click download Zoom client.
Okay, I have resources, but I don't see the place to say download Zoom client.
So when you go to resources, you put your cursor over top of it. You get a or you click it, you'll
Oh,
get
pull down, oh, okay.
Yep, there you go. And then you click download Zoom client.
Zoom client, I don't see
Just
tutorial.
click download wherever it says
Oh,
download.
download Zoom client, sorry,
Yep,
okay.
perfect. And then it'll bring you to another page, and then click download under Zoom client for meetings.
Okay, I'm doing that.
Great, awesome. And then in the meantime, Lynn, did you have a question? Oh no, you're just watching this. Okay, good. You're muted. I can't hear you.
No, I'm just hanging
Sounds
out.
good to me. And then what you're gonna do now, Patricia, on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, bring me down there so I can see.
Okay,
Okay, so do you see? Yep. So click where it says Zoom installer in the bottom left.
okay,
Yep, click that.
got it.
Awesome. Great. It's gonna open up. Okay, wonderful. And then it's gonna load there.
Okay,
Just gonna take a second. Okay, and now click OK and yes to everything that pops up on your screen.
so, okay, so it says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? So I say yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay, that's going back to installing, and I can't tell if it's done or not, but it's not doing anything now.
It is probably done. So what you can do now is go to your email, click the link that you joined this from on your phone, and you should be able to open. Yep, installation was successful. So you should be able
Oh, yeah,
to.
okay. I see the note. So I should go back and now it should come on, right?
Yep. So when you go click that link,
Yeah, I
and
clicked
then-
the email
and I'll
and
show you. And then click to join. Click launch. Yep. Click.
launch meeting.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, this is what happened before, and then it doesn't. I guess it just takes a while. Now, would it matter because I'm on it on my phone? Does that mean it won't come on the computer?
No, it will. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. It's a slow computer.
Yeah.
Oops. Let me see here.
Oh, yes, Lynn?
Thank you very much. Am I on mute still? Oh, no, I'm not.
No, you're unmuted. You're all
No,
good.
I'm unmuted. I want to thank you very much.
Of course.
And enjoy that New York weather.
Thank you. Well, we're supposed to get a snow rainstorm tonight or something. I don't even know.
Where do you live in New York, out of curiosity?
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm over at the edge of Fort Greene in downtown Brooklyn, right where the Brooklyn Academy of Music is.
It's on my list. I want to go there one day. I'm just afraid to fly.
Yeah, well, maybe not right now is is not the best time to come here at the moment,
I
but
may do a 3,000-mile drive.
oh yeah, oh god. Yeah, that also, I mean, New York, thankfully, I think we're on the downturn of our peak with Omicron. I unfortunately caught it last month. I was fully boosted, thankfully, so I made it through quite all right. But yeah, it was, and I was insanely careful, and it made its way through New York, like because nobody knew Omicron was like passing around New York so easy, and then everybody got it. But now it's thankfully on a downturn, I think. So
I had
hopefully.
COVID exactly a year ago. And
You
that-
did?
That was, yeah, and that was before the vaccines came.
Oh
out.
no! Oh God!
It was not fun. So I'm like,
My
I'm
worst
a
fear.
little bit weird when I'm really trying to be extra careful.
Careful,
I
yeah. And
wouldn't
I've
call
heard
that weird. I'd call that smart.
it's smart. It
That's
is
not
smart.
weird.
And honestly, I've heard people about like even if they've had it, they get it like even a month later again, which is scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is not fun. So yeah, a lot of KN95s in my closet right now.
My thought is that it's going to kind of skinny down to maybe more like a common cold eventually.
That's what we're all hoping. That's what I mean. I have to say I feel like Omicron, though more contagious, probably was not as lethal as the others, and that's what they're saying because from what I hear, basically, if something is more contagious, it's usually not as harsh because that's what makes it more contagious because people don't realize they have it, or they're able to walk around with it more, and that's how it becomes more contagious. So hopefully it'll just get less. It might become more contagious, but like less effectual to the point of not being as bad. Hopefully, that's fingers crossed.
Today in LA, there were over 30,000 new cases in LA County.
We were at 100,000 cases one day in New York. I think it was bad. It was very, very bad here. But I think it's getting a bit better now, thankfully. And our vaccination rate was pretty high, which is good too.
That's good. Now, Rebecca, are you from LA?
I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, but now
but right now I'm in LA. Yes,
you're in LA.
I actually have been living in Chicago for the last 15 years, and I moved to LA in September.
We're from Chicago. Where did you live there?
Oh, if you want the actual neighborhood, Buena Park. That's part of Uptown. I don't know if that's useful too.
That was a very cool area.
It is. It's a very cool area. We were about 6 blocks north of Wrigley Field, if that helps you orient it at all. But yeah,
I'm just gonna stop the recording now.
Oh, that's a good idea.